Alright, so, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I will be pretty amazed if I manage to beat this game on 1 credit, but we're going to give it a go, because it's fun to try. So, I am going to be playing as Cody. Cody has by far the strongest hitboxes for general play, and has better damage than Guy as well. So, Stage 1 in this game is a bit of a tutorial. Most of the enemies do very little damage. Not really anything to speak of. So, just kind of going through it. You'll notice when I'm moving kind of in an area where there's nothing to really do anything with, that I back jump. And that's because that is the fastest form of movement in this game. So, it's a good common way to move. Jump kicks are also pretty useful, but don't have a very large inventory of moves in this game. You have the basic straight punch series. You have jumping attacks, which you can do neutral or jumping down or forward jumps. Out of back jumps, you can only do the jumping down attacks, so it kind of limits your options to move and attack at the same time, but that's alright. So I'm coming up on the first boss. Since this is a 1cc attempt, I'm going to play this a little safe and take care of this guy first. So, this is Damned, and one of the things that Damned does is he summons enemies at every increment of 100 health. But I don't want to do that. So I'm going to abuse a technique known as shifting, where you change directions in the middle of your punches, and when the game sees that the third punch hasn't hit, it assumes that you're at the beginning of the striking combo again. So, by turning around and doing this combo, you can kind of punch indefinitely, which is very, very powerful. Once again, this is something I wouldn't normally do, but this section's moderately threatening if there's too many enemies, so. So one big difference between the standard difficulty and hardest is that Ondors tend to have a lot more resistance to punches. So, doing throws is pretty important to gameplay. This is another segment that can go very badly, so I'm just going to go ahead and take care of everybody. Probably try and despawn the next set of enemies, but I don't want to have those guys behind me while I'm doing it. So that should despawn the Ondor, maybe the Elgato. Yeah, we got the Elgato, so. The despawns in this game are a bit more strict than Vendetta. Just getting an enemy off screen isn't enough. You have to also move the camera. So that's why you'll see me a lot of times kind of stop for a minute, kind of adjust an enemy, and then start moving quickly. So this is the knife, which is, with the other characters, is kind of not a particularly noteworthy weapon. But Cody actually holds the knife instead of throwing it, which means that he gets some rather powerful techniques to protect himself and to do damage. Especially against certain enemies like Hollywood and Elgato, who are making some interesting plays right now. Who get up very quickly. I find Hager to be the most difficult to 1cc with, and Guy to be significantly easier. Alright, so Axles are kind of a pain because Axles and Slashes both have a very damaging set of attacks. Not altogether threatening necessarily, but if they do hit you with it, then you will know. No, knock him down so I get some time to grab this. I have seen some people argue that Hager is easier, but I do not understand that. So anyway, this is Saddam. Saddam's main trait is that he's extremely resistant to punches. Cody's basic punch in this game does 10 damage, but against Saddam it only does 1. So I want to try and throw him as much as possible, since throws do as the set amount of damage instead of the reduced amount. So this is the bonus stage. Gotta beat up a car.
Oh my God.
Pile driver is pretty fun, but it has some issues. So anyway, stage 3. Stage 3 is pretty simple overall. There's a couple bad things that can happen if you're not careful, especially in this first fight, because they just throw a huge number of very basic enemies at you. Nice play, Andor. So that butt slam that Andor was doing is a very noteworthy attack, because that attack ignores normal invincibility rules. So it's very easily possible to have that do some bad things to you. Wow. I've never seen him make a play like that before. To throw a knife, stagger step, and then stop. I'm just going to do this the safe way, because I don't want to take any more damage here. Oh, I'll bet the volume's pretty low. I'm sorry about that. I can fix that right now. No, I played Ninja Baseball Batman on main, but this is a PCB. I only played Ninja Baseball on main because I was having some issues. So this is the pit fight, which is... Oh shit, okay. This is a very dangerous fight if these guys get away. I've actually never seen Andor back up like that. I was very, very worried. Maybe a bit much now? Alright, sorry about that. It's hard to do it on the fly. So I wouldn't normally take this safe, but my health is really bad here, so... Should be a good despawn for him at least. Poisons can be pretty obnoxious, but when they're alone, you can do some pretty dumb stuff to manipulate them. So, this boss is Eddie. He normally summons a lot of mooks to help him out, but by holding the screen back like this, it confuses the game into not being able to do that. So, very easy fight when you do that. Sometimes he can grab you, but... So stage 4 has these flames, which are a huge pain until you realize that at least after the first set, you can stay on plane and avoid all of them. So the first set I move over by doing that jumping pattern I did at the beginning of the level, and then after that I just make a note to, or make a point to not move up or down. So, Roxy and Poison are the only enemies who can escape from a hit stun. Well, that's not true. The blockers, Axel and Slash can, but Roxy's and Poisons are far more obnoxious about it. So, anyway, past the flames. This is another segment that when I'm playing for time is very risky. But when I'm not playing for time, I can just take the moment to get rid of all these guys. It becomes pretty safe. Again, despawn all those guys. Makes that segment significantly easier. So now we're on the elevator, and there's no time to gain or lose, but it is still important that I get rid of the enemies in a time-effective way, or else the boss fight becomes very, very difficult. It's possible that I'll die here depending on what actions they take. Should be safe unless something real bad happens. Okay, good. So. Lento can do lots of dangerous stuff, but by catching him right as he's spawning, he doesn't get the opportunity to take any actions. So another bonus stage, you can just kind of skip past this one by just breaking the last set of glass. Alright, Bay Area is this nice single long stretch of ground. But it's a good and exciting one. So here I'm just kind of getting past all these guys because I want to do this, and then I'll despawn all of them. Real quick and easy way to deal with everybody real safely before this fight. Put everybody together and just go to town. Nice kick, Jake. This segment right here is pretty dangerous. There's a lot of poisons, Roxy's, and these two knife wielders. Hopefully we despawned a bunch. Not a great despawn, but take care of these guys before we start the next fight. Yeah, you would jump. So yeah, pretty trivial fight with just the guys who are intended to spawn here. I'm gonna get the food. Play it safe. So this part is Leg City. The game has a sprite limit, but it's not very strict about enforcing it with certain enemies. And that section happens to be one of the places it's really bad about enforcing it. So I want to get rid of all these guys before moving on, because this next fight's pretty disastrous if there's too much going on. This short segment is a place where I want to try and keep these guys all alive. It prevents a lot of axles and slashes from spawning at the end here. I also want to be careful and not move too far, because if I go too far I'll spawn the boss, and spawning the boss with all these guys still alive is a problem. Alright, so this boss is Abigail, and Abigail has a lot of important rules. The main one is to never stand on the same side of the screen as him when he's standing up. Oh shit, I still have button 3 down. Alright, well, this is kind of cheaty percent. Whatever, I didn't take enough damage anyway to have died. So, that's the first half of the effective difficulty of the game. So, button 3, for those of you wondering what the hell I'm talking about, button 3 is a hidden button in the arcade board that does not exist on any port or extra version of the game, and it's not listed anywhere in the manual or anything. But all it does is if you hit it when you're in a grab, the enemy drops you. So, alright, let's see if we can do this setup correctly. Did it again. Dang it. I usually have that button not bound, but I was playing something the other day and never rebound it. I mean, I'm confident it's a debug feature that they forgot to remove. But, I mean, strictly speaking, it's something that the board recognizes, so it's kind of legitimate. So this segment is one of the places that's the most difficult if you're going quickly. But fortunately, when you get to kill everybody, it's not so bad. Except these guys. I'm just going to despawn these guys. They have too much health. Oh, baby! So this section is a huge pain if you're not willing to just sit here and do this. Axle and slashes block a lot of moves. One of which, the Super Joy is not a move they can block though. So you can kind of just take your time and pick them off there if you're willing to use that time that way. It makes it a lot safer than just trying to jump past them. Once again, just another spot where I can kind of take my time, get rid of everybody, make it a lot safer. I actually don't want that knife. There's a very specific reason for that, which is that these guys are the next enemy. And if I bring a knife, it's actually rather hard to do things to them. Oh, yep. Good job, Ondor. Blocked the hell out of me. But that's not very much damage. Okay, this screen is very stressful because there's going to be just a lot of enemies. Most of them are not very dangerous on their own, but there's just going to be a huge number of them. Wow. Red actually saved me from taking a bunch of damage there from Axel. Cool. Alright. That was a throw, huh? Pretty sure that should have been close enough that I'd stabbed, but apparently not. So, that's gonna make this next part significantly more challenging, but that's okay. Cool. This is a really good place to be. There's a good chance I'll die, but pineapple, a little bit of food. But got some lives to work with. Coming up here. This segment's pretty difficult until you realize you can just kind of stand and punch, and it kind of deals with these guys pretty well. Alright, so this is quite the fight here. Alright, that's a pretty good start actually. Should be able to make it through here without too many problems now. Should be the key word. Nice! Hit me on the frame that I threw her. That's how I made the sound and then still got hit. Of course, Final Fight would be happy to show me that I'm an idiot for saying anything about this screen. Okay. So all we've got left is the final boss. And, it's got a hostage. But it's okay. That's the game. Nice. Woo! So yeah, Belger's pretty manipulatable if you're willing to play safe. So, got through it. One life lost. Pretty slow, a lot of safe play, but I mean, that's what you have to do sometimes. Feels good, man. Feels good. So, when you complete this game with just one credit, you get a special ending. You get this normal ending, and then you get a special ending afterwards, which is pretty fantastic. do. My name is Palm. So, if you play the Japanese version of this game, these are developer quotes, but they didn't want to translate them from Japanese, so they just made them say "my name is" and then random stuff. So, yeah. Yep.